Ready?
All right, we are live.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the January PTC meeting for North Gresham. I'm hoping we can do this in person by the end of the year, but it keeps looking like that may keep getting pushed back more than we like to even think about. Just a reminder, we are on the Google Meets and live on YouTube. At one point, I will have to leave to go get my dinner. It's almost ready in about 9 minutes. If you're a parent and you don't have the Google Meets link, please add it into the YouTube chat and I will review and add that, email it to you personally. I actually forgot to get that out this week or for this month. I usually try to send it out to all of the parents. My apologies. Just a quick reminder, we still have some open positions on the PTC board. Katie is looking for someone to take over treasurer or even co-treasurer to kind of team up with her, and so she can be or the person can be trained for next year, so that it's not just coming in not knowing what to do. We're also looking for a secretary and a volunteer coordinator. Secretary's main thing is to take meeting minutes and all the correspondence between the PTC members and boards. Volunteer coordinator would, of course, coordinate our volunteers when the school is open and help to log the hours into the district website. I did actually get September's meeting minutes done. Let me see if I can get it up. Sorry, I'm having a little problem with my computer today. But I did email this out to the board. If anybody does want a copy of it, please let us know. But basically what our secretary does is just type up the meeting minutes of what was talked about, who attended the meeting, and then the principal's report of what Mrs. Sewell shares, what the teachers shared if we had any, and what was discussed, the main ideas, and then also the treasurer's report of what Katie shares with us and where our next meeting is and what time we adjourn. I know I just emailed this out to the board yesterday. Did anyone get a chance to review it? Okay. Were there any questions? Okay. Does the board feel comfortable approving the meeting minutes, or do we want time to review?
No, I think we're good.
And I saw Mrs. Sewell also move her head. I lost Richard because I'm sharing. Okay, but I think we have an agenda there. So we will go ahead and approve. Oh, I'm in November's meeting. Sorry. You guys probably want to see the agenda so you know what we're talking about. My apologies. So I will try to work on October, November, and December's, but we will approve September's meeting minutes. If any members would like a copy, please email me at northgreshamptc@gmail.com, and we can certainly get that sent out to you. Mrs. Sewell, do you have anything for the principal's report?
Sure. Good evening. So it's been really great having the kids back since winter break. It seems like they were ready to come back and we hit the ground running. Currently, we are working really hard to keep everyone safe and healthy. It's been a challenge with the shortage of staff, but the district has really stepped up, and it's not uncommon to see anyone from our assistant superintendents to coaches subbing in our building because of the shortage. We are keeping up on all our protocols. The protocols are changing quite regularly in how we are handling cases of COVID, as well as close contacts and contact tracing. Our newest protocol that is effective last week is that students who test positive or staff who test positive for COVID, they will isolate for 5 days. And then if if their symptoms are improving, they have no fever, unmedicated with no fever, and they're feeling up to coming to school, they can return on the 6th day. And then reminding people that excludable symptoms, it seems like the only thing we talk about now is COVID, as opposed to some of our run-of-the-mill colds, etc. So excludable symptoms are still excludable. So from our pre-COVID times, students were asked to stay home for 24 hours if they were running a fever, vomiting, diarrhea, or had an unidentifiable rash. So they need to be free of those things for 24 hours before returning. And other than that, we're just really working hard to get in as much instruction as we can, knowing that staff and students are kind of coming and going with COVID. And just keeping vigilance on keeping everyone safe and healthy.
That is awesome. I'm really glad the school is trying to work very carefully to not only keep the staff, but also our kids safe.
We plan to stay open. And I would say if anything were to close us again, the shortage of staff, Gresham Barlow had not planned to close on Friday. And we even had a meeting that morning, and it was we were not going to close. And then 2 other districts around us closed, and many of our staff live and have children in those districts. And so due to staff shortage, we were forced to close because, of course, safety is our number one priority. So I know people are wondering if we're going to close or go back online. That is not our intention, or we certainly hope not.
So are we finding that it's just more staff shortages? I mean, due to like they have kids or they've been exposed is the biggest problems, or is it the
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to be getting better. Our attendance today for both students and staff was greatly improved. So they're kind of talking about waves across the district, and I see it. It's kind of like it was happening at North, and we were way up there as far as staff and students missing. And then now it seems to be moving to other schools. So.
Oh, good.
Only time will tell.
And then I did remember receiving an email. Is it that parents can't let the kids out of their cars until 8:15 now because of these shortages? Is that still going on?
We hope to go back to the 8:10 or 8:05 time, because it does allow kids to trickle into the cafeteria earlier and allows parents that need to get to work. But when we get in the morning, then we have to rearrange who's going to be where and wait for staff to come and cover. And it's crazy to think that 5 to 10 minutes makes all the difference, but it really does when you're trying to cover positions, especially when it comes to kids being dropped off in cars. We don't want to risk that safety. I think that was your dinner bell.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't want you guys hearing my dinner bells going off. Sorry. Please forgive my absence. But yeah, I was actually talking to Michelle Carter, who was the PTC president prior to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess out in her district, there is no staff out there in the morning. Like there is one teacher at the door and that is it. Nobody's in the parking lot. Nobody's out there directing traffic. And I guess that it is hectic because I was telling her how you guys had everyone dropping off and kind of going through. And she was like, oh, that'd be so nice if there was someone to tell us where to go and how to get through. So I'm really glad that you guys got that figured out.
Yeah.
I think you said you had 250 teachers or 250 cars at one point.
We do. And so making sure we have our people in positions is super important.
Yeah, I've tried to get to the school a couple times just to check on our mailbox, and I get to it and the line is like, almost 2 blocks away. And I'm like, I can't even get into the parking lot.
True story.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
School and PTC. Sorry, that's my son. He's interested to see what we're doing. Okay. So just to quickly kind of go through the agenda. We've already done the welcome notes for everybody and the principal's report with Mrs. Sewell. We don't have any teachers on that I can see. If someone is on, please let me know. But then we'll go into review a new business, end with the treasurer's report, and then the meeting will be adjourned. I think usually it's a pretty quick meeting, but we'll go ahead and start with the first part of reviewing old business. In December, we decided to do as our winter event, the winter break bingo. Last time I was able to get to the school was on January 6th, the day before the cards were due. And at that time, we had 35 cards turned in. And that came from 7 different classrooms and 1 teacher. I was hoping to pull the winners here, but I feel like if I wasn't, it states it has to be in the mailbox on the last date of the 7th of January, and I went on the 6th. I was hoping to go back like that Monday after, and I did not get a chance. And I was going to go last Friday, but the school was closed. So is everyone okay if I do like a Facebook announcement or an email to staff and parents, or should we go ahead and wait to pull the winners in February?
No, I think you can do an email or an announcement along those lines. I don't think it needs to be done live over a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I will. Fortunately, my work is crazy. I will not be able to get to the school this week, so maybe next week so I can check our box to see if any of them got turned in. If you haven't turned yours in, we won't know, but we'll see. Before we go into spring, I did forget to want to mention box top entries are due to actually physically send the box tops is the March 22nd date. So if anyone has any box tops, please send those to school. I've been making copies and having that being sent out, what do I want to say, by the teachers. I don't know if any of them got turned in or not, but we do have a few families that have been using the app. Has anyone tried using the app or had any success or any questions? Okay. Well, if you do, just email me. I forgot to add that to our agenda. So what are we looking for in this spring coming up? Unfortunately, due to my work schedule, we are having to postpone the merchandise order form. I wanted to get it out this month so we can get the orders for February to have them delivered by March. Unfortunately, I just do not have the time or the capability of doing all of that at this time. So if there are any volunteers who are willing to step up and willing to help me, it would be just collecting the orders, counting it, putting the whole inventory order together, and then maybe even going to Night Owl to pick up the orders with me, and sorting it based on the order forms in our stock. So it would just be a couple of days at the beginning and then a couple of days at the end just to get everything put together. But if anybody is willing to help out with doing the merchandise orders, it's just very hard for me to do it all by myself. And the other thing we do have planned this spring is our book fair, April 1st and 8th. Unless that has changed, Richard, do you know of anything that's changed on that?
No, it hasn't changed. And it all depends on the dates are still open because it all depends on how we're going to have it. If we're going to have it able to come back inside the school, which it's not looking like that, or if we're going to have it on a Saturday. I do have Adriana. I talked to her, and she's going to train on this book fair to start running it next year. So, and I explained everything about it, like the responsibilities and stuff to her on the phone and stuff, and she was okay with all that. Her husband's gonna fill out a volunteer thing and help her with it when she needs help after she gets going on her own. So but so far we're on track to having it in April.
Okay.
And all depend, like I said, all depending on how we able to have it. And it will be a BOGO fair.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Perfect. Well, awesome. Please forgive my notes. This is just what I kind of need to do so I can type up the notes, 4 months from now. But yeah, I know we'll have more information as we get a little bit closer. But I wanted to see if anybody had any ideas up for this spring and next year. Because of course, Katie, Richard, and I are either at our 3-year mark or have already been doing this for 4 years, or the kids are no longer in our North Gresham school. So, we're also looking for leaders for the future. And if they have any ideas, some things need to be set up ahead of time. But I'm still sharing the agenda. I'm sorry, guys. But does anybody have any ideas for what they would like to see, what they want to help out with? That's kind of going to be majority of the meeting is ideas. So I'll go ahead and mute and.
Actually, Adriana is only going to want to run the book fair. She don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
Whether she volunteers here and there, I don't know, but she didn't want to take my position as vice president.
And that's understandable. I know between you, Katie, and I, with the 3 of us, we are all wearing lots of hats with PTC and doing multiple things. It's always easier when you have a big project that there's multiple people to help out. Well, of course, when there's only a couple of us, it's really hard, because a lot of us have to do the same or do a lot of different things. But that's fine with her just taking over book fair. That's, one little thing that's going to, be helped out with.
Yeah, she expressed that she don't want to see it end. So
I'm wondering Oh, sorry, Richard.
And I told her I'd help her out next year and at the first book fair to make sure she's got it all right, or if she has any questions or anything like that. And after that, I'm done.
I wonder if we should send out between now and the end of the year, like remind about positions available, and then even flyer to go home in kids' backpacks.
Yeah, I think we got one available out the beginning of this year, and we didn't really have any. Nobody really stepped up to say anything. A couple people had emailed me interested in helping out, but not wanting to lead. Honestly, we need some leaders. We need some people who will go, I will do this. I know, kind of, you know, I kind of got thrown into being president and I've loved it. But, you know, my son will be in Clear Creek next year.
I think we need people involved as much as we can now. And then I think it's easier to go into a position when you kind of have a feel for what's going on.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of wanted to do this year was, you know, someone who may be interested in taking over, you know, treasure, kind of working with Katie this year so that when they do it next year, they are not thrown into it, kind of like how I feel like Katie kind of was. She had a little bit of training, but we had to learn a lot, kind of like with me and being a president. And I didn't know all the things that came with it. I thought it was just running a meeting. Here, I learned how to do a Google Meets.
I think you should put it out on the website that we have and on Facebook more often. Well, the website is to stay on there that need new members for those positions, and keep on putting it out on the Facebook so it keeps getting seen, and maybe even send a flyer home each month or every other month with the kids saying there's these positions open and we're still looking.
I can put it on the reader board too.
I got these.
Yeah, and reader board. Yeah. But I mean, keep putting it out there so it keeps on getting seen, and then maybe it'll finally catch somebody's eye, and because it's being overlooked here and there by some people. I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Sorry, my son was talking to me. My apologies. But yeah, I totally agree. I know Adam can possibly help us with the website. If somebody wants to create a flyer and we can get some copies made and get you the PTC copy key, we can use some parent volunteers to help out with that. And that can be done either during school, as long as you did the district volunteer application. If not, Derek's helped me out a lot, and I've gone in after work at 5:30. So we can also look at that. If someone wants to help me out with putting it on to Facebook, I have access to it. If you just want to type something up and send it to me, I can get that on Facebook. This is great. Do any of the members have any ideas or ways to help get the word out, or what you want to see this spring, or what we can help out with?
Well, I'll say right now, I would love to volunteer, but I'm staying out of everywhere possible right now because of my condition. Sophia's mom ended up with COVID. My brother and his whole family's ended up with COVID. My neighbors across the street, they all ended up with COVID, their whole family. And some of them didn't even get their vaccinations and ended up in the hospital. And my neighbor, he's had all his vaccinations and he was really sick. So I'm just kind of like staying away from everybody and not going nowhere. Hermit.
I understand. We're all in different ways.
Otherwise, I'd get out there and volunteer, go make copies or whatever. But I just don't want to take the chance.
Yeah.
Right now, my brother, he has the same lung condition that I have, and he's on oxygen down there where he's at.
Yeah. Well,
all
if
day
any
long.
if any parents concerned about this, that's why I can reach out to Derek and they can go in the evenings. I think he's there until like 10 o'clock at night. And when I get there at 6:30, I think Derek's there and the Sun people are leaving. So nobody's in the school. So if anyone's concerned, they want to help out, but they don't want to be in the school when kids are there. I'm sure between Mrs. Sewell, myself, and the custodians, we can work on it. If you only have time during the day, we can work on that as well. But does anybody have any ideas of events or things they want to see this spring?
It's really difficult to plan things. I don't know if we really can this year. I think that we just don't have the people. And we don't have we have monetary resources, but I feel like we've kind of been throwing money at things and we've been making money back. It's great. The few fundraisers that we have been able to do this year went pretty well. But I really think that this is just another year where we can't do a whole lot because we can't do anything in person yet.
I agree, Katie. And I know we've thought of some ideas. I was hoping that we can get back into do Jogathon, but just the way it keeps going with staff shortages, I don't know if we're going to do that this coming up year in the spring.
And I don't know if I would want to do Jogathon either because that's going door to door asking for donations. And I don't think that that's what we would want to promote.
Yeah.
I feel like as we get closer to spring break, I think we'll have a better idea of where we're going as far as, is this part of the COVID? Are we loosening up on restrictions and people are feeling better about this, or are we still having spikes in COVID? Or I think by spring break, it'll give us an idea, like, can we get in a fundraiser or a jogathon by the end of the year, or is it still just not safe? I mean, obviously we're not going to do it if we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we just got to where Gresham and Sam Barlow's announced that volunteers could go back into school, and then that got held because the Omicron, and everybody's catching it worse. More people are getting it, even people that are already vaccinated, and just kind of like shot us back again. So that's why I said about the book fair, I'm not sure what's going to go on, if we're going to have a Saturday one or even if the district will let us have one. I'm hoping by March at least, because that's when I start doing the flyers and stuff and get them ready.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully like we said, we'll know more. I just know the four of us have been kind of going and spinning and thinking of ideas. So that's why I want to give members a chance, because hey, maybe you've got an idea that we haven't thought of, or that you've heard of or seen, or maybe your school did in the past. So right now I think it looks like we have Kat and Adam on. Do you guys have any ideas or input? I know we're going to kind of wait until about more towards spring break, but I feel like the four of us have talked. I want to make sure you guys get a chance if you have any ideas.
No, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as Katie without being able to do in-person stuff. I don't have much for ideas on what to try and do this year. Short of doing, we've done fundraisers the book fairs, and we're going to do another one hopefully. But outside of that, yeah, it's difficult.
Okay. Well, if anyone has any ideas that they can think of, or maybe you're kind of scared and you don't want to share and you're watching on YouTube or on your phone or something, and you're like, oh, I don't want to say, email me, northgreshamptc@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, northgreshamptc.com, and do the contact us. I think if you do the contact us, I think it goes to Adam because he's our admin on our website, and it also goes to me, so it doesn't get posted to anybody. We also have people on our Facebook page that send messages through the messenger, and that just goes to my cell phone. So it won't be announced to anybody, but if you have any ideas, I just want to double check before we move into our last topic if there was anything else that we need to discuss before we go to Treasurer's Report.
I mean, I can already tell you that there's nothing on the report for this month. We didn't get any reimbursements turned in, and there haven't been any deposits. So no changes.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't been to the school since January 6th, so I didn't get a chance to look at any deposits. I have 2 checks to deposit for us. One is Cherrydale and one is Box Tops, but I just haven't gotten to the bank because they close before I get there. You know, so some parent volunteers can always help us out by just checking the mailbox. I'm usually home in the evenings, but I have to give up my car right after work, so I can't even stop by the school sometimes for 15 minutes. But anyone can deposit checks into our checking account too. So I mean, these are things that people can help out with. If you're like, I don't want to do anything, hey, just running to On Point to help us out is helpful. Running to the school to check on the box, and you can drive it by my house and put it in my mailbox, and then just text me. It's in there if you're, concerned about COVID exposures. We're willing to work with anybody who has any help or is willing to help. Okay, so I'll just say nothing to report. Oh, but Katie, I think I will need a copy of the treasurer's report. I think you sent me one in December, but it was like a Google Excel, but somehow my computer read each column on one sheet of paper. So if it's possible to send me like a PDF that I can just
I'll
print
work
from
on
work. Okay. So before we officially adjourn, does anybody have any final remarks, questions, concerns, helps, wants, needs?
I do think that if we don't by like April, maybe I think spring break definitely will be the big turning point for us. But I think we might have to look into somebody that I can hand off all the banking information and all of our reporting stuff to, whether it's because I think I would have to turn it over to a CPA or something like that. We might have to start budgeting that as a finance person to handle the finances once we're done. And then handing over the actual checkbook to a parent who is going to be still in the school district. I don't know what to do at this point.
I'm right there with you, Katie, because yours and my name is on the bank account. Honestly, I mean, if we both pull our names off, I think the bank account would close, and I don't know what would happen with all the money.
I mean, I wouldn't do that.
Well, yeah, but I'm just, I mean, I hate to have my name on something if they're, if we're not in the school.
Yeah.
When I can find out what generally happens, even if it has to go, and I've intentionally not wanted my name on the account, but even if like somebody's name has to go on until somebody else comes on, but hopefully we won't face that.
Yeah. If anyone has some time or some creative juices and they want to work on a flyer, I'm up for anyone wanting to help to create a flyer saying, hey, we have these positions. Again, that's something you can do on your own and just email. I just simply actually just haven't had the time with my work schedule to even, go to the
I'm
school
gonna
and check
to
them
work
out.
on something with Nina.
Oh, well, I know she does so much for the school already and creating stuff, but
Yeah, we have a
I knew she uses
I can't
Canvas.
remember. Yes, we have a Canvas account. No, not Canvas. It's called something else.
Is it
Canva.
Canva?
Canva, yes. And so it makes it somewhat easy. So just making sure we have the right information, so we could make something up and then send it to you to make sure we have the right information.
Yeah. That's awesome. And even if there's a parent that, hey, I like to create flyers or I like to be creative, I'm up for any help on that. Is there anything else or questions before we officially adjourn, or anything on YouTube? I didn't see any comments from last month. I looked the other day.
No, it's been pretty quiet tonight.
Usually these meetings are pretty quiet because we're usually doing big planning stuff for spring, and we're just not able to do that. Doesn't look like there's any messages on the Google Meet. So I hate doing odd numbers, but we'll officially adjourn the meeting at 7:11 p.m. And I'll stay on for a few more minutes in case anybody wanted to talk to me or has any questions but didn't want to be online. But thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see everybody February 15th, I believe, is our next one, the third Tuesday of the month.
Perfect.
Bye.
Okay, bye.